Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today is a creative exercise for me. I'm gonna talk about toothpicks for 30 minutes. And why toothpicks? Because it's boring. It's actually very boring to talk about toothpicks, but it's a creative exercise and I just want to keep talking about something I don't like for 30 minutes just to see if I can do it. And I have to do it non-stop as well. So we already started. So now I'm gonna start talking about toothpicks, okay? And it's 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. So toothpicks is a very interesting thing to use. It has been existing for a lot of years, and we know that people use toothpicks, right? Because it's a helpful tool to clean your teeth, basically. And everybody or most people have a relationship to toothpicks because it's good to use it when you have food in your teeth, and it's very handy. You know, it's hard to use the finger. Sometimes you have food stuck like very in between your teeth, and it's just very helpful and a simple tool. So it keeps you checked with your teeth, right? So basically it's something a lot of us have used, not everybody. I'm not sure actually how many people know about toothpicks. Is there a statistic about this? Are there actually people who work like with trying to navigate how many people actually use toothpicks? Like, because they probably have data, right? The companies, they have these charts and try to, you know, explore opportunities in the toothpick business. Like, I can just imagine they have a meeting and a, you know, CEO where they talk about toothpicks and, you know, just you know, they have data, and this data is analyzed, and they have marketing teams just dedicated for toothpicks, toothpicking teams, and it's probably very, this position is probably very well, you know, paid because it's so boring. So basically you need to throw money at people, you know, just to make them accept the job, basically. And I know about this company called Jordan. That's what we have here in Norway. I know they have toothpicks, and they have been on the market for a lot of years, and they're established. They also make other stuff, but I'm gonna stick to toothpicks because that was the topic, right? So yeah, and they have this the design on the toothpicks is very interesting. Well, it's not interesting, but I have to talk here, so just bear with me. It's not completely straight. The design, as far as I remember, is a bit like, yeah, uneven, and that this is also probably something they have analyzed because, you know, to make it effective to pull meat and stuff out of your teeth, and like based on the median of your teeth, like, because it's not the same space between all teeth, right? So you have to find some common ground there for the design to work, like if it's your cavities or front teeth or side teeth. You have to take into consideration all this when you make a toothpick because it should be effective. The wooden ones I find a bit, they're the best because they have the tactileness that the plastic one doesn't have. I don't like the plastic ones. They're too soft, they're too, I don't know, it just doesn't feel natural to me to use these toothpicks. And I wonder how many times I've said toothpicks, by the way, but we can do some research later. So I'm going for the regular toothpicks. Then you would ask, do I like the mint flavored or the regular ones? I don't really have a preference there. It's whatever for me. But yeah, maybe the mint is a bit better actually. Yeah. So they tend to crack, and I don't know the span life of a toothpick. It probably isn't very long, but they have to make them a bit durable. So if they crack too easy, then people will be just irritated and not buy them. But they can't be too durable, because then, of course, they sell less of them. I would think this has got to do with the thickness, right? And you know, just the design thickness, because it will eventually be a factor when it comes to the longevity of toothpicks. And yeah, and also the design on the toothpick package, with you flip up the little lid there, and you have them like they come through this tiny hole, not tiny, but yeah. And this is also probably calculated, because if the hole is too big, you get all the toothpicks. But if it's a bit medium sized, you can easily access one toothpick or two. I mean, this probably also, they have this probably in the marketing, the strategy toothpick team. Is that a separate team from the marketing, or is it? Not sure. What do you call a person that works with toothpicks? Is it a toothpick specialist, or are they like under? It's a subcategory within the team. Not sure, but and do the people who work with it, did they have a dream? Did they want to work with toothpicks? Was it just a coincidence? I would think so. You never hear about people dreaming about toothpicks. I don't know, just my 2 cents. But so they're probably just you know, they got the position through coincidence, or you know, some insider information. No, I don't know. It's hard to say, but and then the question is, if you work with toothpicks, are you actually proud of it? Do you say that loud to people around you? I work with toothpicks, or is it like a part of your position, and you know, you do lots of other stuff, and then you just name that instead of toothpicks, because it's a bit not shameful, but not very high like status to say you work with toothpicks. So yeah, and how long have toothpicks been around? You know, you can imagine actually that it's been for, yeah, of course, decades, but maybe the Neanderthals, they used some kind of not toothpick, but some device, you know, they got, you know, meat between their teeth, or they used something. And I'm not sure about the timeline, the history about the toothpick story. It's probably a story there. And how many people were occupied with this before? Who discovered the toothpick? Very interesting, you know. And I would say, was it by coincidence? Maybe, not sure. But yeah, very interesting topic to speak about. And it's been 10 minutes now. I'm starting to panic, but I'm just gonna go on. And I don't know, how many toothpicks are there in one package, by the way? And how do they decide how many toothpicks to put in the package? You know, it's a question there. I'm open to suggestions there. I don't want to do any research, you know, but maybe I will, just because I'm speaking about it now, you know. So have to follow up and be thorough about this subject. Is it which country uses most of the toothpicks? I would probably say countries that have meat, a lot of meat, but then again, every country has meat, so I don't know, maybe Latin American countries. Are there actually a culture there of, yeah, it is worldwide, isn't it? I would think so, yeah. And how many toothpicks do you get from a tree? This is also a question. Has to be thousands, right? And are there particular types of tree types that are more suitable for toothpicks than another tree? Probably, just because that's how it is. Like with qualities and products, you have to pick, the optimal, tree type. And so, thinking about that, it's probably it's interesting to think about. Really is interesting. And and also the marketing part when it comes to toothpicks. I haven't seen for a while anybody actually did marketing with toothpicks. Not commercials, or it's just probably a product that sells. Like, you establish it on the market, and then after many decades, it's almost, it sells itself, right? And which brings me to another question. Are there any other uses for toothpicks than actually picking your teeth? Like, of course there is, but I'm not sure what. What do people use it for? Can you use the toothpick for, opening your cell phone, the SIM card? Is that, I think no, I'm not sure, because it expands, right? It's very thin in the edge, and then it expands. So basically, it's not good for the SIM card tool replacement. But then again, you use it for canopies, right? In food situations, you have the toothpick, and dates with bacon, you use a toothpick. You have lots of areas you can use a toothpick. And what else? Probably a lot of stuff. I just imagine criminal people use it for something. It's lightweight. It's not that durable though, so I don't know why it's a criminal. Maybe they have some, I don't want to bring that up, but maybe there's some field that it's good to use it. It's not detectable either, no metal, so you can actually use it for different stuff. That if you smuggle something, you can use a toothpick. You don't have detectors that can detect wood, do you? No, has to be metal. Why though can't you detect wood? Why is metal so? But that's another discussion. I'm gonna stick with toothpicks. So how long is the toothpick? How do they actually decide the length of the toothpick? That's also a question. They did land on some measurements. Why? Why didn't they land on something else? Is it like the median of your length of your fingers? Is that something like they calculate? Or is it like, of course it can be a question of money, because the longer, the more expensive the toothpick, basically. So it's very interesting. What's the revenue for toothpicks? And how much does it actually? How much does the company rely on it, basically? And can you buy stocks? Well, not just dedicated for toothpicks. It's you're done as a company. They produce other stuff, and then toothpick is a branch under the company, basically. And so I'm thinking, what can you say about the toothpick? It's the word is very interesting as well. toothpick. It's relevant, you know. It's not a very, they don't use fancy word for it. They could probably call it something else, but like, come on, how much can you actually glamify a toothpick? Like perfumes, they have certain names, or you know, technology, or but like even a French version of toothpick wouldn't sound very interesting, would it? Le toothpick, or probably not in French though, but I would actually like to know the French word for toothpick. If you know, put it in the comment section. It's yeah, it's interesting. Is it and mandatory in some countries? Do they actually? I would say the hotel business probably needs it. Not sure if it's mandatory though. But I did see it most places, and yeah, and you have those. Actually, I remember now. You have two different designs on the toothpick. You have the box, which is like not square but square-ish, and then you have the round ones as well. I think you have like this turning mechanism to open it. Yeah, I think these are a bit more expensive, premium toothpicks, which is also a bit interesting. Why do you choose that? How is that relevant for using the toothpick? I mean, but it's a market, right? For do you think there's also luxurious toothpicks? That's, I have to know actually. I have to Google it later, because I bet there is some Amazon segment of toothpicks. Probably some person comment underneath, wow, oh my god, I didn't think it was important with toothpick quality, but after I used this product, I'm not going back to regular toothpicks, like 5-star toothpick, John from New Mexico, or Saida from Finland, or you know, and then just 1 star. I thought this was gonna last forever, but after 2 weeks it finally broke, and why am I paying this amount for a toothpick, you know? I bet there's some discussions on this, and why is it not colored? It could be like different colors on the toothpick, like customizable toothpicks, 3-color toothpicks, or maybe that exists, I don't know, can be. And yeah, so have you ever gifted somebody toothpicks, by the way? Did you try, or do you know anybody who has given you a toothpick for a present? That's low, that's really low. I mean, that's passive aggressive. To give somebody toothpicks is, you're actually provoking a human being if you give them toothpicks as a gift. And or is it more context? Tell me in the comment section. Do you know anybody who gifted somebody toothpicks? Did you do it just to get back at some people? You know, it can be just a way of saying, you don't really mean anything to me, so I'm gonna give you toothpicks. Like, you're not worth anything for me. Take this toothpick. Or is that harsh of me? Is that me actually, you know, disrespecting toothpicks? Or because it's an honest piece of wood, right? And probably there was some situation in history where people had to have a toothpick, or else they would die. Like some absurd situation where I need a toothpick, quick. And then like, actually I do have a toothpick, and you had to use it for something. And this person survived, and like people were like laughing and like, what's the odds of having a toothpick available? And then like after that particular story, they always carry a toothpick. And that brings me to the next thought about toothpicks. Like they probably have some shirts like "I love my toothpicks." You know, do you like some cool font and combined with a picture? I bet if you do some searching on toothpicks on Google pictures, you will find lots of, you know, different angles on the toothpick business. And how many toothpicks can you actually place between your teeth? What's the record? There's probably a Guinness record, like how many toothpicks you can put in your teeth at one try. I bet there is some records set with toothpicks. I bet there is. And yeah, where is the most strange place you ever bought toothpicks? Like you would never thought that this was possible, but you actually find toothpicks. Like probably like just they sold Coca-Cola and toothpicks, and that was it. So many different angles on toothpicks. It's really interesting. And how long can you hold on to a box of toothpicks? This is also interesting. How long can you use? Let's take the wood ones, which I told you were my preferable toothpick. How many times can you use them before they actually flake and break? That rhymed actually. And how long can you use it? Like if you use it, okay, take this. This is like a preference or a set marker. You have to use toothpick, one toothpick every day, but it can last for several days. And how many days can it last? Like, and the rule is if it breaks, you have to replace it. So, but you have to take really good care of that toothpick, you know, because the goal is to make it last. So how long are you able to make it last? I bet you can make it last for a long time. If the focus is there, you're maneuvering it like very, you know, gently. You don't twist it too much. Just pick tooth after tooth and be very careful. Like, because you know when the tip starts to flake, you know, you're in trouble, right? You have to be careful and thoughtful. And there's probably people wrote a poem about toothpicks. Like, and if there isn't, I'm gonna be the first one to make a poem. But it's not, everybody can make a poem about a toothpick, but to make a great poem, just the topic toothpick, that's actually very brilliant if you're able to do that. Like an emotional poem about toothpicks. Like if you make a person cry, they read a poem about a toothpick and they actually start to cry, then I would say you're a genius. Like if you put some emotion to the poem. Like one day there was a toothpick, a single toothpick in a box of toothpicks, and this toothpick felt it was different from other toothpicks and it didn't want to get picked, so it hid among the other toothpicks. And the days went by, it hid between the chaos of all the toothpicks, and suddenly one day there were only 3 toothpicks left, and you know, it felt very nervous, you know, and it tried so hard to not be picked. It wanted to be unique, and it just tried hard. So eventually it managed to fall out of the box. When there were 3 left, the owner just, you know, they float around the toothpicks like when it's 3 left, and actually it had to be 3, because if there's 2, it's more focused, right, on the toothpick. So 3 you can hide a bit, but 2 then there's like, so 3 left. 1 of the toothpicks were taken, and it actually managed to go with the one, and it fell quickly to the ground, and the owner didn't notice it. It was so smart, this toothpick. It actually managed to escape and survive in nature. Like it just, a toothpick has an identity, and it knows where it belongs. So it can actually, it can make, it can make it. A toothpick can make it by actually adapting. So it's a tree, basically. It was a tree at some point, and then it had a faith. It became a toothpick, and now the struggle starts to get back to its roots, because it will try to find its peers. Other maybe there's another toothpick that has escaped. Can be, you never know. So it have to search for other toothpicks, and the way it does that, it first of all, it just have to get exposure, because it's been so long in the toothpick box, remember? And now it's in the open, maybe an office on the ground, and then it can be, some cleaner can, dispose of it. So it has to be very tactical. It has to try to find the right timing to escape. And if it does escape, it can actually, get back to where it came from, or maybe multiply again, become a tree. That's, of course, if it grows and it finds enough finds the right soil. And people think it's dead, but you never know, right? With a toothpick, it can be potential there, and it can be part of a cultivation process that actually makes it become part of a tree seed. It can be integrated with dirt, or seeds, they come from somewhere, and they can, maybe seeds actually are toothpicks, like dissolved toothpicks. We don't know. There's so much we don't know. And face it, like a toothpick, it's an outsider. Nobody expects anything from a toothpick, so it can just stay quiet and do its thing. People think it's made for picking teeth, but it's actually not, right? It's actually much deeper than that. It's about, the circle of life. It's about, rebirth. It's about, the legacy of the world. Imagine all the trees that are mourning, because we humans, we choose to use it in our teeth, like it's their blood, right? Or it's part of them, and we just and they're like, I think trees probably despise humans just because we use their, flesh, which is the toothpick, and it's cynical, basically. But it's it's just a part of the ecosystem. So yeah, this is something to think about when it comes to the topic toothpicks. It's has so many aspects, and I'm actually starting to think toothpicks are really important now. I talked for 30 minutes about toothpicks, and if you made it this far, congratulations. you're a patient person. So I'm gonna sign off now, and thanks for watching.